What is up, everybody? It is Lawrence again, and today we have the Nike Free Flyknit 3.0 in a platinum and black, and I don't know why this isn't named. It's like kind of like lime green pastel-ish Easter color. If not, just hit the subscribe button and the bell button because you have nothing else to do right now but watch me. So if you're not familiar with the Nike Free line, this line is basically for minimalist runners as well as short-term runners or short distance-based runners. That's because the shoes themselves are pretty barefoot. You're supposed to be minimalistic with them, and you're not supposed to go on short runs. I believe the recommendation in terms of how long you should run for is actually 3 to 5 miles. But the practical usage from what I've seen with almost anybody out there, most people buy Frees because they're comfortable and they're easy to walk in and because you feel barefoot in them. And this has been the case across the board since the beginning of time. I don't see many people run in them, and whenever people do run in them, I almost judge them because these are not, in my opinion, good for running at all. I mean, if you're going to have a much more all-purpose shoe, you might as well just go for any of the other running shoes. The only reason I think you would ever run in these is because you either have no choice or you literally enjoy that barefoot movement of the toe. You know those toe shoes from like with Vibram and the 5 fingers. I'm not a fan of those just because they creep me out. But besides that, that's the only reason to get those shoes for running. But for the most part, I think most people end up using these for walking. But without further ado, let's start with the upper like we always do. So as indicated in the name, this is made out of Flyknit. This is done in a platinum color for most of it. There is stretchy Flyknit all throughout, and you're going to see parts of it that are a little more rigid than others. The most notable thing is if you look at, besides the Flyknit, there is a piece of stretchy material that the rest of the upper is on, and it goes into the back area as well. So really only the front area over here, so basically like this part of the shoe, is actually we use with Flyknit. The rest of it is more of a neoprene type wrap that has a pattern across over here, and it kind of gets smaller and bigger. And then there are overlays of fuse all throughout the back. And then there's a little bit more of this kind of like stretchy neoprene or nylon type material. I'm not sure exactly which one it is. But like I said, the Flyknit is only for the really the top 3/4, if not just really the top half actually. There's also a hit of the Nike logo over here as well. And then there is Nike Free embossed into the actual upper over here as well. And then finally, the last piece of this is that there is 3M in 2 places. On the back over here, and then also there's a little sliver of it right there on the side of the shoe near the toe. The upper itself is extremely breathable. It has these holes over here right in the front, and that's really about it for the upper. If you have ever worn any of the Nike Frees in the past, the uppers are typically really good and breathable. I haven't actually worn them for a really long time. I just don't really like the Nike Free technology. I can't wear them all day, and honestly, eventually, I get tired from them pretty fast because of the lack of arch support and support in general, and stability of the shoe. So, for me personally, I'd much rather wear any of my other runners. But for people that really like the barefoot aesthetic, this upper feels pretty good, and it does lock down pretty well. My only gripe about the upper is that it's really almost impossible to get your foot in. It takes a lot. If you have really thick socks, or if you wear socks at all, it's really hard to put in. But if you don't wear socks, it's actually kind of cool, and that it becomes a pretty good summer shoe if you're just walking around for a little bit and not really going after sports or anything like that. So moving over to the midsole. So how the Nike Frees work is that there's usually a 3.0 and a 5.0. The 3.0 is much lower to the ground. The 5.0 is a little less lower to the ground. This specific version is a 3.0, so it's definitely lower to the ground. It does say that there's a 4mm drop over here directly on the sole itself, and there is Nike Free embossed into the sole with Nike symbols over here as well. The midsole isn't really much, but the flex screws all throughout the shoe is laser cut. You can see how extremely bendable it is on both sides, and just to show you like how it's designed, you can see those ridges basically disappearing into each other, which I think is kind of cool. The stability on the shoe was a little better than I expected after walking around for a single day. It wasn't as good as obviously most other shoes, but I would say that it was really comfortable, and it does exactly what it does. It feels really barefoot. You're low to the ground. You feel the rocks. You feel the pavement. You feel whatever thing you're walking on. So The EVA Flyline midsole is decent. You don't really buy it for the actual properties of the Flyline, you buy it for the shape of the shoe, its lightness, and really its construction. Construction on this shoe is also really, really good. So what are my thoughts on this shoe? I'd say that this shoe is a pretty damn good shoe if you like the minimalist type of shoe. I would say at $130, you're probably better off with the Odyssey React for a much more general purpose shoe. That one is just as comfortable, if not more comfortable to walk in. That is also, it's not a Flyknit, but it's the material on it is pretty good. This is really expensive in my opinion. I feel like this should be about $115 instead of $130. And then there's a 5.0 version which is $100, and that might be your better buy, but you're also missing Flyknit on that one. In terms of comfort, pretty darn good. There's nothing to actually complain about the shoe. If you like that minimalist feel, if you like round feel, it's actually a pretty stiff shoe on the bottom, which I actually appreciate. It's not bad, but I would not go on really, really long walks with them, and I definitely would not go on long runs with them. In terms of sizing, I actually went true to size, which is actually a very, very, very surprising thing for me. Normally, whenever there's a Flyknit Nike shoe, I typically go a half size up, but I would say that this is, the way this is constructed, if you look at it, it kind of flares out over here and here. And so for wide footers, if you have, that's where my foot gets wide. For wide footers, if you guys are pretty good here, this is not the worst shoe in the world, and you probably should go true to size. But if you're like really, really wide in the toe area, I would still go probably half size up, because there is, it gets considerably tighter once you get to the front of the shoe. But definitely hit the subscribe button and or thumbs up button if you enjoyed this content, or if you want more of it in the future. And that's it, guys. This is the Nike Free 3.0 Flyknit. Peace. Before we begin, it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I just have not been impressed with the shoes that are out there. So if there are any kind of shoes that you guys specifically want to see, let me know. Put it in the comments below.